Hello and welcome to this lecture, and from this lecture onwards in this section we will start building the web scraper, which is going to scrape a particular web page and find those links. So even before we start with the project, you first need to go ahead, create a folder on your desktop. So I have created a folder which is named as scraper over here, and in there we will go ahead and set up the Django project. So in this particular lecture, we will go through setting up the Django project, and we will also install the packages which we will actually need to use in that particular web scraper project. So let's go ahead, open up our terminal and create a virtual environment. So let me just open up the terminal, and in here, let's go to desktop. So cd desktop / scraper. And in here, first of all, let's go ahead and create the virtual environment. So I'll say something like virtualenv. And now once the virtual environment is created, we will go ahead, activate the virtual environment and install Django in it. So if I type in ls, as you can see, we have the virtual environment. So let's go to the virtual environment and source bin /activate to activate the virtual environment. Okay, so now once the virtual environment is activated, our next job is to actually go ahead and install Django. So let's first get out of the environment and let's type in pip install Django, and it's actually going to install Django for us. And after installing Django, the two packages which we'll be using in our application are requests and BeautifulSoup. So let's first let it install Django, and we will discuss about the packages later. Okay, so now once Django is successfully installed, let's go ahead and let's create a Django project. So right now we are into the scraper. So let's create a Django project by typing in Django admin start project. Let's name this project as my site. And now let's cd into that project. So I'll type in cd my site, and now let's go ahead and create an app here. So I'll say Django admin start app, let's say my app. So now once we have created this app and once we have set up the project, let me just go ahead and open up Visual Studio Code. So now in Visual Studio Code, I'll simply open up the project which we have just created, which is nothing but the project inside our scraper. So once I open this thing up, we are pretty much good to go. So now the very first thing which we need to do here is that we need to go to the my site, and in here in the settings.py, you actually need to go ahead and add my app over here. So let me type in my app, give a comma, and we are good to go. So now this is just the basic Django project creation and the app setup process. Now as we are creating a web scraper, we now need to learn how to install the packages. So in order to install the packages which we need, we will be using pip. So the very first package which we need for our web scraper is nothing but request. So requests is actually a package which allows us to send requests in our Python code. So for example, let's say if you actually want to access a web page, so let's say if you want to access google.com in your Django code or in your Python code. So for doing the same, what you can actually do is that you can go ahead and install requests, and that requests package is going to help you to actually request for any kind of web page which you want. So in order to install that particular package in here, I'll type in pip install requests, hit enter, and it's actually going to install the requests package for us. And as you can see, the request package has now been installed. And another package which we'll be using over here is called as BeautifulSoup. So BeautifulSoup is actually a Python library for pulling data out of HTML and XML files. So this request package is actually going to go ahead and extract the web page contents or the HTML for us. But after that, you actually need to go ahead and get the data or pull out some data out of those HTML code. That is, you want to get the links, you want to get the different elements, so on and so forth. So for doing the same, you actually need to go ahead and also install BeautifulSoup. So in order to install BeautifulSoup, the BeautifulSoup version which we will be installing is BeautifulSoup 4. So you need to type in pip install BeautifulSoup 4. Hit enter and it's actually going to install BeautifulSoup for you. So now in the upcoming lecture, even before we start writing some code in our Django project, we will first learn how to use these two packages so as to get a particular web page. So that's it for this lecture, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you.